everyone to another Super Sports Collection show. On this show, I love talking about two things. I love talking about collecting cards. I didn't do it for 30 something years, and now I've gotten back to it. I'm having such a good time. And as a teacher, I see a lot of the kids have no interest or don't know about trading cards, about trading memorabilia. And so I've gotten so excited about it that when I get excited about something, I want to turn other people on to it. So being a teacher, I really want the kids to learn about collecting cards, especially something that's so entertaining for me. And the way I do this is that I invite uh, professional athletes on the show so they can share. So the kids and the adults and their parents can hear the words out of a professional athlete, perhaps like they've never heard before. Because I don't ask the same questions that a lot of the reporters do. And so Wes Chamberlain has been kind enough to do another show with me. Wes did a show with me on the radio several years back. All right. And you remember me? We did a show maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
great.
remember you. Of
Okay,
course I
cool.
remember you.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't even be talking to you if I didn't remember you.
And he's been kind enough to say hello and to come on the show and talk to you all about his experience as a major leaguer for I think it's either 6 or 8 years. He'll tell me for sure when we invite him in here in a couple of seconds. He's had several productive years. First, I believe, with the Philadelphia Phillies, and then with the Boston Red Sox, and yet he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and was traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. And today he's going to share his experiences and memories that he had as a player. And by the way, Wes, you were born April 13th, buddy, and you're one day away from my birthday on the 12th. So thank you, Wes, for joining me on the show today and for helping me bring attention to sports and memorabilia collecting. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. And a happy birthday if I don't never get a chance to say
You
it.
know what? We'll have to wish each other a happy birthday when April
Yeah.
comes around again.
All right. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, Wes, tell me about growing up. I'd like people to know almost from the beginning when someone realized, you know, I wanted to be a shortstop when I was a kid, but I was small and I wasn't going anywhere too fast. Tell me about growing up, and did you have any idea that you either wanted to play professional sports or that you could? Who encouraged you if that was the case?
Well, if you don't mind, if I can add, I do have my book that is posted on Amazon. It's titled "In the Game." It's volume one, and it's at Amazon Kindle store. I published it. I want to say almost 10 years ago. It got to be 2013, 2014, but it's only an ebook, so you can only get it downloaded on the Kindle store at the Kindle store on Amazon. And with that, I mean, a lot of the details in there. It's a real short read, only 100 pages, 5 chapters, and I mean, volume one is out. Volume it might just go to three, but it starts with the same thing that you're asking me, like my upbringing and all that, how it all began. So I did want to put that out there so that people know that they can go to Amazon and they're going to get an insert, a preview of the book if they also like. Amazon allows that.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me that. But
Sure.
I have 4 older brothers who used to babysit me, and I used to follow and tag along behind them. And it's just like life when things when you have older siblings and you have the little ones tag along and they just pick up traits and things from their older siblings, and that's how I got involved with sports. Period.
And were they into sports? And you being the smallest, you had to be almost better than the kids your age, and almost try to keep up with them, the kids their age.
Yes, they were very involved, very activities, and that's the thing that I feel is missing in society today. We had activities, we rode bikes. I was just speaking with a client on yesterday about the upbringing in our society. I'm close to 60. I'm 57 years old. So I was born in the 60s when there was a turn of events. So then coming up in the 70s and then the 80s, there was this the neighborhood things to where it's like it was more like a village. And so with that, everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody. Mom, dad, sisters, brothers, relatives, uncles, aunties, and so forth. So it was pretty much like a village, a collaboration of everybody raising raising each other kids and having the respect. So with that, the activities, everybody rode their bikes together, did paper routes, did collect bottle caps, collect all type of stuff. You know, we had a mind to work to help ladies with their groceries, and so that kind of just everything just went in season. So swimming over the summer, riding a bike, playing baseball, coming to the wintertime, playing football, wrestling, so on, hockey, you just on and on. You know, I grew up a Bears fan, grew up a Bulls fan, grew up a White Sox. I liked the Cubs, but I grew up a White Sox fan because my first game that my older brothers took me to was Comiskey Park, and we was in the grandstand seats, and I saw that and watched them, and I just liked it. And I asked them, could I do that? And they just told me, yeah, you could do that. That's what you want to do. And that's where typically how I fell in love with the game of baseball.
So, what was the first steps that you took towards being out on that field?
Okay, well, the first steps I took forward to that was when watching my brothers play strikeout. We used to get a paint can and put it on draw a box on the building, and there used to be the strike zone.
Oh
So,
yeah,
so it was the equivalent to the big boy size. So to me, it was taller, but because I was short, but to my older brothers, it was to their waist and midsections, you know, the strike zone. And they get the paint can and spray it on the wall, draw X in the middle and a circle. And that was my first experience. They said, stand up there and don't move and just wait for it and just take a swing, you know. So the first thing was was overcoming a fear of an object coming at you and real fast. So that was my first experience. And we called it strikeout. And that's what we did all summer long. We rode the bikes, we played strikeout afternoon, morning, afternoon, till it got dark.
absolutely. I had the same upbringing, but I just didn't get to the majors. So I'm glad to hear that you did. So, what was the first step? Who found you? Who saw you and said, "You know, you've got some potential. Um, how can I help you? Or how could you help yourself?" How did that happen?
Well, I don't know. I mean, oh,
Who
I
saw you?
I did growing up, the major leagues used to always have open camps. The White Sox used to have open camps where you can come in there, broadcast it, advertise it, and you could come in off the street. It'd be like a 2 day thing. I never forget. I went and I filled out an index card. I believe I was in about fifth or sixth grade because I was always hanging with the older guys, and they allowed me to fill out the index card with my name and telephone number on it and age and grade, and they allowed me to do some of the drills. The Chicago White Sox, and they had us in station. You know, we had a number put on our chest after you signed the index card, and you know the scouts and everything. That's how I believe my name got on the radar, because after that they just kept they would go through the archives of the high school baseball and all of the neighborhoods and things like that, and you follow all of the guys that were already in high school, the guys who was already being talked about. And so, yeah, that's how I believe I got found.
And so you got drafted into the minor leagues. Who came after you? Who showed interest? And what was the minor leagues like?
Well, I got drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates twice. First, it was in 1984, then the second time, 1987. And I signed in 1987. So uh, it was, like I said, it was a lot of scouts, but Pirates drafted me. Yeah.
Now, and where did you tell me about your trip along the way in the minors?
The trip in the minors was,
How long did you play in the minors?
well, before I got to the major leagues, I made it to the major leagues in 1990. I signed in 1987. So I made it to the majors on a waiver blunder by the Pirates.
Huh.
I was in. We had a couple of baseball strikes, and so the waiver rules had changed. Prior to that, if you were on a major league roster, the organization was allowed to place a guy on waivers, and if any teams had claimed them, then they can take them off waivers and claim them back. But that was one of the things that was changed in the strikes. And lo and behold, the general manager, Larry Doty, had just mishandled that. And that was fortunate for me and a couple of more players that it wind up becoming a trade. They wind up making it a trade. They didn't have to make it a trade, but it was one organization doing the other organization a favor. Well, we claimed him. He's ours. They're ours, the people who they put on waivers. And we'll give you this just to as a so-called like a trade to make it look, what did it say? It was a clerical mishandling.
Wow.
They just made it a trade.
Wow. And so
So
did you ever step on the field with the Pirates, or did you
no,
go you went right to the Phillies?
yes, right to the Phillies from actually it happened when we were in Toledo. Uh, I was with Buffalo. I was in AAA.
Here you are. I mean, it's like, look at the stadium behind me. I mean, imagine a young kid stepping on a field with all those people in the stands. Could you tell the viewers a little bit what that was really like? What was going on in your head? What was going on when you first stepped on that field?
My experience is it was just like just going to the game and just being a spectator. It was more like an interview because of how everything occurred. I mean, I was coming to the ballpark. It's just like the business is. One day you here today, gone tomorrow. Call the landlords, just to let them know that I'm moving. Things. It was just so chaotic because that was the first experience that I've had on with that happening. So when I got to Philly and got to the stadium, the introductory. I'm talking about with Nick Label, with Lee Thomas, I just really felt uncomfortable because it didn't, everything just happened at the deadline. So from my experience, it was not uh, spectacular. It was strictly business. So everything was a business approach because I was a rookie and the trade just went through and all the chaos that came along with it. It wasn't a call up. It was a trade, so it was a transaction. So with that, I sat up there, took batting practice, and had first class seats watching the Major League Baseball game, but getting paid. That's how it happened. That's how I took it. All the interviews, all the stuff, and when the game started at 7:15 or 7:25 or something, after getting to the ballpark and getting acquainted, meeting, the guys, and just there, just okay. It's Lenny Dykstra, Von Hayes, Dale Murphy, Darren
Wow.
Dalton, Charlie Hayes, Dickie Thon,
Wow.
John Kruk. Those were the
Wow.
guys that started lineup, and I was just, just to myself, really. I was just, yeah, it was just, yeah, just by myself.
How long did it take you to start getting comfortable with what was going on in Philly?
I don't know. Can't put a finger. I didn't. I sat there 2 weeks before I got my first at bat. My first at bat was a pinch hit. So it's just taking in everything, just pretty much like school, like a class. That's how I looked at it. Came every day, and then, like I said, after 2 weeks, when I received my first major league check, and I didn't know if it was, what I didn't know the process of anything. I just know that be here on time, show up, and be ready. And it was just, and once I received the check, I could say probably the next day I got a pinch hit at bat. And so I was like, well, maybe I couldn't do nothing. Just taking it all in. Didn't ask, never asked. All this is just my own theory.
Wow. Was anyone there to mentor you at all?
No, it was a mentor by example. You come in, you spoke, follow the leader. Just you speak when you're spoken to. Everything's seniority. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how college was. You just stay in your lane. And some guys come over, have a conversation. Hey, Rook, congratulations. Things of that nature. It's just a part of the business. And the transaction, because what it was at the end of the year where it was at the deadline where they had to make trades, and so uh, they was they were getting the Pirates was in the pennant hunt, so they picked up a couple of veteran pitchers, so they needed roster spots. So that's what for me that's where the the chaos came in because I was due for a September call up, and everything had to be done before August 31st. So all this happened just a week before the deadline. And so that's when I was on the bench. I think August 30th or August 31st was my debut. So that's why I was on the roster, on the major league roster, and everything had to happen according to all the major league rules. So
So,
I just sat there and just observed.
wow. So, can I show a couple of your baseball cards from back then? Can we look at that
Yes,
for a second?
yes,
Okay, great.
yes,
I believe that's your rookie card. Am I correct?
yes. That is a rookie card, and that is after the deadline. I believe that September calls up. Uh, I want to say that was during September, like about 2 weeks after the 2 weeks. So after I got my first pinch hit, which was in Philadelphia, then we came to Chicago about a week later, and so that was another pinch hit. Yep,
Oh,
pinch hit for the pitcher.
so you pretty much remember when they took this picture.
I don't remember, but I know that at bat. I
Gotcha.
remember that. That was a line drive to Luis Salazar. Because Bon Hayes was on deck, and I remember. I mean, because they called me and told me, and then they brought in, the pitcher and everything, and I was like, okay, and they kind of gave me a little information on the pitcher, and I lined out the third.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got to come computer savvy now in your old age.
Ooh, ooh. All right, let's see. Okay, now it wants to show this one. How about this baby?
Well, I don't remember the bat, but that's also in Philly. So number 31 was my rookie year number. That's a 91 card also, but that's
Right.
like,
This is the back of the first card I showed you. This is your rookie card. And
yeah,
it looks like you said, 87, you spent time in Watertown, Augusta in 88, Salem in 88, Harrisburg in 89, Buffalo in 90, and then there it is, the call up to the Phillies in 90.
yes.
And I think that's pretty much your official rookie card.
Yes, that's rookie card. Yeah, because 90, that's the first card because '88. I was started in Augusta, and you can see the games. It was only 1 month there, 27 games, and then I got called up to Salem, and that's 92 games. So that was the remainder of the season. And then Harrisburg was the full season. Watertown was the first short season. That was only 66 games. And so with Augusta and Salem, you added those two up together. Those games was that was in 1 year. So then in 1 year, I moved up, and then Harrisburg, I stayed there the whole year. Then Buffalo, I was there, and then Detroit. And
Harrisburg was a very productive year for you there. 21 home runs, 87 RBIs, and just 471 at bats.
yes, I won the MVP that year.
Wow.
That's in New York.
Oh, that's right. Against the Mets. Look at that. It's a nice card.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I have any of your Boston Red Sox cards. I'm going to have to dig a little deeper for them. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that a little bit.
Oh, yes, I'm enjoying myself.
Okay, good, good. So, who did you learn from the most? You said that you were watching the other players, and who did you learn from the most? And what were some of the things that you said, wow, I really learned a lot from that player?
Well, I never learned. There is no one. All my learning is collectible. It's like a buffet. Everybody has different tangibles. I mean, you look at Dale Murphy. I mean, he's MVP. And I've I'm in the locker room with him. Here's somebody who I've watched on TV playing with the Atlanta Braves, and now I'm in the clubhouse with him. So things of that nature. I mean, it's a all moment, but it's also reality, because that's the business side that you start uh, trying to grasp a hold of, because they know they was in that same situation maybe 10, 20 years ago, however long that they was in the majors. And so they pretty much know how you are. So they're just observing you, trying to see how that you're gonna carry yourself, and your mannerism, how you're gonna hold your mannerism, things of that nature. So and I still do it today. I look at things like a buffet. You see there, taste it, try it, because that's how my mom raised me. My mom and my grandmother and my grandfather. We just sit around, and they would tell us, you say, I don't like that. It's like, how you say you don't like something you never even tried, you never even tasted.
Right.
You don't say you don't like something until you tried it or experienced. And when it comes to like certain things like food, they call it, you take a no thank you helpful. And so a no thank you helpful would be like a half of a teaspoon or something. And you just take a spoon and you put it on your plate, and then you taste it because it's just a spoonful. So now you taste it and you be like, that tastes pretty good. That tastes funny. So I've always kind of used that analogy in my life, and I still use that analogy today. So I've taken things from people, and I add it to my repertoire. And if it fit, I hold on to it. If it don't, I just discard it. It never got in there. It was just a taste full of something.
Speaking of the business, what was it like to get traded? And what was it like playing in Boston?
Yeah. And so for my experience from Philly to Boston, it was different, because I was going straight from the National League to the American League. So and I was at home in Chicago. We was playing the Cubs, and I got traded from Chicago when we were in Chicago, and I had to fly from Chicago to Boston. But we were on the road in Philly. So, and I went over there to Boston, and Boston was in Dan Duquette had just became the new general manager, and I was his first trade. So for everything that I don't know why, for a lot of things that happened in my career was the first. So we talked, and he had plans and he had goals, but the trade to Boston, I don't believe it panned out good for me. So because after that, I got there the next year. Uh, Butch Hobson was let go, and then Kevin Kennedy came in. So it was another whole transition of players leaving and players going. So for me, it was a big transition, and it was strictly business.
But at that point, were you still determined to keep on playing ball, or was there a part of you that was kind of, I don't know anymore?
No, I was determined to play ball, but we had a lot going on in the league. We were getting prepared for another baseball strike. So everything, yeah, I wanted to have a long major league career. That was a goal. That was a dream. And yeah, most definitely. I mean, I played from 1987 to 2004. So my career was long, but not at the major league level. So with that, yeah, that's what I mean, that's what I've done. That was my whole life as a professional.
Tell me about your highlight when someone says to you, you played a lot of professional ball. Very few people get to play professional ball. You played all those years. Is there a highlight that stands out for you? It's like, wow, that game, everything was flying for me.
No, nothing in particular. I could just say my highlight was playing in the World Series, but not like particular games. No, my highlight was having a conversation with Andre Dawson. We was in Boston together, and he saw my World Series ring, and we were, was going on a road trip, and I put my ring on, I wore it, and he asked to see it, and then he had asked me a question. I was like, yeah, how we lost, and he was like, yeah, and he said, yeah, he said you lost, but you got there,
Yeah.
and I was like, that was a that always stuck with me, and with that being said, here's a man, another man who I've watched on the TV playing 20 years, and I wanted a career like him, 20 years of playing. But like the business was changing, all the collective bargaining agreements, all of the unions, all just everything, all of the things that were going on. The game was transitioning, and but I was taking a lot of input, a lot of personal information from the veterans, from the guys before me that was sharing nuggets, life experience, wisdom, which I still live by today. And I mean, he's like, you got to the World Series, and that's what he just wanted to do. He's like almost I give a leg to play in the World Series, just and that is a goal. You do want to play. It's like I said, it's a goal, it's a dream, and to have that happen for me in three major league seasons I was just just like a wow, like yeah. A lot of people who played can't say they played in the Super Bowl or the NBA championship or the World Series, and I'm just thankful that it happened for me.
And the great Andre Dawson, did he never make it to the World Series?
I think he made it with the Marlins. I want to say, but I'm not sure because the Marlins, they won it. And I believe he was part of the organization. But as a player, I'm not sure. I'm not certain. I think he might have made it. But the Marlins won with Darren Dalton and Bobby Bonilla and Moises Alou.
Yeah. I don't
But
think
he
he was
won.
on
I
that.
don't think he made it in the major leagues.
No, no, but a great, great player.
Yes.
And I oh, thank you for bringing up your book earlier. I was certainly going to bring it up again that people can purchase your ebook. It's on Amazon, and I'm certainly going to pick it up because I want to learn more about you. You're a great guy. I really appreciate you coming on and doing the show, and I look forward to sharing your story with with the kids and the parents, who's going to get involved with signing, seeing a player like you. Can I put you on the spot? Can I send you some cards to autograph so on a future show I can show those autograph cards to the folks watching the show?
Yes.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. Any last words before I let you go? You've been very, very kind and generous with your time.
No, just thank you for having me on. And, you know, I do apologize again for the mishaps a few days ago. But like I said, no, I enjoyed myself and I'm thankful. Me and you, we survived COVID and everybody else is still going forward. That I'm thankful for that. I'm just thankful for one day at a time. I'm thankful for my salvation and Christ Jesus and just being a man of God and not ashamed to boast or tell it. If you need a friend, Jesus would be that friend. So thank you.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much. Wes Chamberlain, I appreciate you coming on the show. We'll be in touch. I'm going to send you those cards, and many, many thanks for your kind and generous time here on today's show. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll get you again next time. Bye-bye, everybody.